Okay, adding and subtracting polynomials is a little bit different from multiplying polynomials. And I think with most other cases, addition and subtraction is a little bit more complicated than multiplication. I think the same is true for fractions, where in fractions, if you were to add two fractions, you need to have the same denominator. Whereas if you're multiplying two fractions, you can just multiply the numerator with the numerator and denominator with the denominator. And I think the same, not the same, but something similar is true for polynomials. For polynomials, you can only add or subtract like terms. So in fraction terms, this is like having the same denominator. So remember, we could do x times x squared, and that equaled x cubed. Well, we can't do x plus x squared. And the reason is that they are not like terms. And if you decipher x and x squared here, I think you'll understand why we can't add x and x squared. Well, x and x squared, if you're adding x plus x squared is x times x. So you can't really add x with an x times x. Whereas you could do x times x squared. So x, this, remember, simplify to x times x times x. Once you pull apart the x squared, they all become the same operation. So that's why we could multiply these together, but we can't add them together because addition is not the same as multiplication. We can't combine all these together. So for two terms to be like terms, they need to have the same letter, and they need to have the same, the letters need to have the same exponent. So numbers don't matter when it comes to like terms. Just look at the letter and see if they have the same letters and the same exponent. Okay, so let's do some of the examples here. So if we're doing 3x minus 2y plus 2x minus 4y, you can look at the first term here and see if there is any like term with this. So 3x, is there any other term with the same letter and the same exponent? Well, we have the same letter here. Does it have the same exponent? Well, they both have the power of 1. Okay, so these are like terms. That means we can combine these two. Likewise, for the y term, by the way, if there is a negative sign anywhere, the negative sign always goes with the term that's after it. Okay, so this is one pair like this, and this is one set like this. Okay, so the negative sign always goes with the term that follows. So negative 2y and negative 4y, they also have the same term. They both have y as their letter, and the y is also both raised to the first power. So we can combine the like terms together. 3x plus 2x, and when you're combining like terms, you just add the coefficient. Just add or subtract the coefficient here. All right, so 3x plus 2x is going to equal 5x. And for the y part, negative 2y and negative 4y, so negative 2y plus negative 4y, or negative 2y minus 4, is going to equal negative 6y. Okay, so that would be our answer here. Now let's try another example. Let's say we have the same problem as above, but instead of the plus here, we have a minus. Now you need to be careful when we have a minus sign. The minus sign should be distributed. Remember that the minus sign always goes with the term that follows. I've said that before here. So the minus sign should go with the term that follows, but since there are more than one terms here, the minus sign should be distributed to each of these terms here. So let's rewrite this, distributing the negative sign to each of these. So we have 3x minus 2y, and then minus 2x, because the negative sign has been distributed to the negative, or the positive 2x, and then plus 4y, because the negative sign is distributed to the negative 4. Okay, and now you can combine the like terms. So we have a 3x here, a negative 2x here. So that is going to equal just x. And then we have a negative 2y here and a positive 4y here. That is going to equal plus 2y. Okay, we're just adding the coefficients. Negative 2 plus positive 4 is positive 2. So this would be our answer here. Okay, let's try a few more examples. Here. Let's say I have x squared plus 4x minus 2 plus 3x squared minus 5x. Okay, again, we need to combine the like terms together. Here, this is an addition sign, so we don't need to worry about distributing the addition to each of the terms. If we do distribute the addition, it's just going to be the same thing. It's just multiplying by positive 1, which is the same thing. All right, so the like term with x squared. What's the like term with x squared? Well, this one, and this one all have x's, but only this one has the same power. Remember, for it to be like terms, we need to have the same letter and the same power. Okay, so because they have the same power, these are like terms. And these are like terms. They have the same letter and the same power. And this one is left by itself. There's no like terms with negative 2. Because there are no other terms that has no letter. Okay, so let's just combine the like terms here. X squared plus 3x squared. Remember, if there's no coefficient, it means there's a 1 here. Okay, so we're adding the 1 to 3, you get 4x squared. Right? And then we have 4x minus 5x, which is going to be minus 1x, or just x. If the coefficient is 1, we usually don't write it. Just negative x, okay? And then remember we had the constant term, negative 2. So this would be our answer for this question. Okay, I want to end this with one monster question. It's actually not that hard if you think about it, but it might look daunting when you see it at first. So the question is this: 3x squared minus 6x minus 3x squared minus x squared plus 4x minus 2 minus 6 close brackets. Let me actually use a different pair of braces here because we have the parentheses inside. All right. So what do you do here? Whenever you see a nested pair of parentheses like this, always start with the inside. Okay, always start with the inside and then work your way outside. So let's start here. The first thing you need to do, there's nothing you can do inside this parentheses. So let's look one outside of that parentheses. Is there anything that's being multiplied to this? And if you see to the front, there's a negative sign that's being multiplied here. All right, so we'll need to distribute the negative sign to each of the terms in here. So that would be, let's write the outside terms the same, 3x squared, and then now we're distributing the negative sign. Negative x squared minus 4x plus 2 minus 6. All right, now again, we're focusing on the innermost parentheses, this part here. Can you simplify this part? Well, we have a couple of like terms. We have 3x squared minus x squared, and we also have positive 2 and negative 6 that we can combine. Okay, so if you combine this part, 3x squared minus x squared is going to be 2x squared, minus, there's no like terms with negative 4x, so we'll just leave as negative 4x, plus 2 minus 6. Positive 2 minus 6, that is going to be negative 4. All right, so let's write the rest of our question here. 6x, 3x squared minus. And again, we're focusing on the innermost parentheses here. Is anything being done to this parentheses? Well, there's a negative sign out here, and we need to distribute the negative sign to each of the terms inside the parentheses. Okay, so that is going to be the negative times the 2x squared is going to be negative 2x squared. Negative times negative 4x is going to be positive 4x. And negative times the negative 4 is going to be positive 4. And there was a 6x in the front here. Okay, and then we have 3x squared minus this. Right, let's see if we can simplify what's inside the parentheses. 6x is the same term as positive 4x. And there are no other like terms here. So let's combine the 6x and 4x. So we have inside here negative 2x squared plus 6x plus 4x, which is 10x plus 4. Okay, and then we have 3x squared minus this in the front. So we've simplified everything inside the parentheses here, and then again we need to distribute the negative to each of the terms here. Let me erase the first line here so that we have a bit of room here. Okay, I'll write this up here. So we have 3x squared, and the negative is being distributed, so we have plus 2x squared minus 10x minus 4. Okay, just check if we have any like terms. And in fact, we do. We have 3x squared plus 4x, for 2x squared and 3x squared. So we have 3x squared plus 3x squared, which is going to equal 5x squared minus 10x minus 4. And we can't simplify anything else, so this would be our answer. So remember, when you have a lot of nested parentheses, work from the innermost parentheses and then work your way out.